Tommy Robinson returns to public spotlight with controversial TV interview. In a moment that has reignited discussions across the UK's political spectrum, activist and public figure Tommy Robinson re-entered the public eye with a nationally broadcast television interview that sparked immediate debate. The segment marked his first major media appearance in some time, and his remarks quickly became a lightning rod for opinions across the political divide. The interview aired on a primetime slot as part of a broader program exploring free speech, social unrest, and public trust in institutions. With media outlets and public figures increasingly facing scrutiny over what is said and what is allowed to be said, producers framed the segment as an exploration of differing views in a democratic society. Robinson, whose real name is Stephen Yaxley Lennon, sat down with a neutral interviewer for what was promised to be a civil and policy-focused conversation. The tone of the discussion remained largely measured, with the interviewer ensuring questions were posed fairly and respectfully. The goal, according to the program's producers, was not to amplify controversy, but to examine how people with controversial pasts navigate public discourse. Throughout the segment, Robinson reflected on his time away from the spotlight, emphasizing what he described as a shift in personal priorities and a broader reflection on the role of public activism in today's divided Britain. He touched on themes such as political disenfranchisement, media bias, and the boundaries of public discourse. "I believe people feel like they're not being heard," Robinson said during the interview. "That doesn't mean everyone agrees with me, and they shouldn't have to. But there should be space in this country for difficult conversations." He went on to say that his goal moving forward is not to inflame, but to engage. "We need open discussion, not closed platforms. Whether people like me or not, the point is to debate ideas, not ban them." The interviewer pressed Robinson on his past statements and actions that have drawn criticism and legal scrutiny. Robinson acknowledged that he has been a divisive figure but insisted that public labeling often oversimplifies deeper societal frustrations. While he did not elaborate on specific past events, he maintained that free speech and the right to express concern about national issues should not be limited by political alignment. Reaction to the broadcast was swift. On social media, reactions ranged from supportive to sharply critical. Some applauded the network for allowing a contentious figure to speak in a controlled, moderated environment, arguing that it's better to have conversations openly than to suppress them. Others felt the platforming of such a figure was irresponsible and risked normalizing views they believe should remain outside the bounds of mainstream dialogue. Political analysts also weighed in. Some noted that Robinson's public reappearance is indicative of a larger societal trend where figures, once sidelined for their controversial stances, are finding new avenues through alternative and independent media to rebuild their platforms. Others cautioned that media organizations must walk a fine line between inclusive dialogue and potential harm. "This was clearly a calculated media moment," said one commentator. "Whether it leads to broader reintegration into political commentary or remains a one-off event will depend on public response." The segment also reignited discussions about the role of legacy media versus social media in shaping public narratives. While mainstream broadcasters are required to follow strict impartiality and content rules, social media platforms offer fewer restrictions, allowing for unfiltered dissemination of messages. Robinson has, in the past, made use of digital platforms to reach his audience, though some of those accounts have been removed or restricted over time. One area of the interview that drew particular attention was Robinson's brief commentary on the state of community relations in Britain. Without naming specific communities or individuals, he emphasized the importance of national unity and urged that grievances, no matter where they originate, be addressed respectfully and through proper civic processes. "It's about fairness," he said. "If people feel like there's one rule for some and another for others, they lose faith in the system." Critics of Robinson argue that his language can still carry an undertone that risks dividing communities, even if the surface message is more tempered than in the past. Supporters, meanwhile, argue that his willingness to return to the public square indicates a desire for dialogue, not division. The broadcast concluded without any dramatic twists or escalations, staying within the parameters of respectful public conversation. Producers noted that this was intentional to show that even polarizing voices can be engaged through calm, fact-based discussion rather than confrontation or spectacle. As the UK navigates its way through cultural and political crosswinds, public conversations like this are likely to continue stirring both discomfort and curiosity. The challenge for media, viewers, and political leaders alike is how to engage in such discourse without amplifying harm or silencing dissent. What's your take? Was the interview a productive example of democratic dialogue, or a risky move that may set a precedent for controversial figures returning to the mainstream? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. For more fact-based political coverage that encourages critical thinking and respectful debate, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into UK politics.